Great. Okay, good. So if you're tuning in on Facebook Live, we'll be back at 8:30 with Kitchen Farce, Theater Rhinoceros presentation. This is a free presentation. You can also watch it on Zoom by going to therhino.org, therhino.org. And great. Can you spotlight me big?
You mean,
No, is that screwy?
yeah, that's Gru. I mean, yeah.
It's
Sorry.
screwy. It's screwy. Okay, I get a good enough idea. Okay, good. Thanks, Joe.
Sure.
I'll see you around 8:30.
8:30.
Bye. Hey, Joe.
Hey there.
Hey, so I just want to check out the sound.
Okay.
Test, test.
Sounds good.
Okay. Test, test.
Sounds good.
Test, test.
Sounds good.
Okay. Test, test.
And it sounds good.
Okay, great. And let's just look at the good. Good. Whoops. Okay. Okay.
I hear tapping.
Good. Okay, great. Okay, great.
And I hear tapping.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we will begin shortly with Kitchen Farce. Yay! Thanks for being here. Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
When I got to high school, I finally found a clique. I was in a clique. I had a group. My whole life, I'd never had a group. I didn't fit in anywhere. I wasn't a mathematician. I wasn't a scientist. I wasn't an athlete. I wasn't any of those things. So I was sort of a loner until I got to high school. And I discovered the drama crowd. Oh, they were so much fun. All my friends were in drama, doing plays, hanging out, being crazy together. And one of my all-time favorites was Amy. Ah, I loved Amy. She was great. She was wild. She was so inspired. She was like a little hippie. That's what she was. She was a hippie. She was just so open-minded and free-spirited. I loved her. And she lived with her mother. Yeah, her mother was divorced. I never saw the dad. He was never around. And she lived with her mother and her sister, Georgina. And it was wonderful to go over there because her mother was just like, a hippie, but like a hippie mom. She was great. And they had this wonderful house in Greenbrae with this incredible view of San Francisco way across the bay. And at night, you'd see it there shining. Yes, glimmering, soaring up into the sky. And the foreground at night, there were all these like cars racing by on the freeway. It was all lit up. It was like a science fiction movie. It was great. We used to hang out there, the four of us, and watch the lights. It was so much fun. I loved it. And one day she came up to me and she said, "Hey, do you want to go see a play tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, I love to go see plays. I love being in them, but I love watching them too." And she said, "Well, my father's in town. He's staying at our place, and he's produced a play. It's a Broadway play, and it's on tour, and he's the producer." I was like, "What?" It turned out Amy's dad was a Broadway producer. I couldn't believe it. That's so exciting. But what was weird was that he was living up at their house with his wife, his ex-wife. And it was like, that's weird. So like when he was in town, he like stayed with his ex-wife. I mean, I knew a lot of kids who were divorced, right? I mean, I knew their parents were divorced. But the parents didn't talk to each other. They were completely alienated from each other. They hated each other. But I guess, hey, they were like hippies, right? So she said, "Okay, he's going to pick us up. So let's meet in the back parking lot at 6, and then he'll drive us to the show." I said, "Okay, great." So he showed up, and I got in the backseat of the car. I said, "Hey, Mr. Young, how you doing? It's so nice to meet you." And he barely said hello. He sort of grunted. And then he drove us to Berkeley, where the play was. It was weird. He like didn't talk, and there was like no talking in the car the whole way over. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And he turned on like the ball game, and it was just weird. Okay, so we drove to Berkeley, and I'd never been on the campus at night before. It was so magical to be on that big campus at night where there are no roads. There's just people wandering around kind of in the semi-darkness. And we went to Zellerbach Auditorium, and the show he had produced was fresh from Broadway. It was called Bedroom Farce by Alan Ayckbourn, that great British playwright. I love him. He's so wonderful. And we walked in. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, it starred Tom Ewell and June Lockhart. I didn't even know who those two people were. I was like, what is this? So we sat down, and then the lights came up, and there was Tom Ewell and June Lockhart. I was like, hey, he's in the 7-Year Itch. Hey, she's the mom from Lost in Space. Oh, wow, this is great. And they were really funny. It was a great, great show. There were 3 bedrooms on stage, and there was all sorts of like panicked running around and people with their backs getting thrown out and having injuries and sort of sex panic and people, talking about being impotent. It was like really, risque for me. I was like 16. I was like, ooh, this is great. It was a lot of fun. And it was my first farce. And I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. And afterwards, of course, I wanted to congratulate Mr. Young, Amy's dad, on what he'd done. And he came down the aisle and I said, "Hey, Mr. Young, that was great. Thanks so much." And he like barely grunted at me. And he led us to the car. And we got into the car and Amy sat up front with him. And I sat in the back seat and he didn't say anything. And we started driving back to Marin. And it was weird. It was so awkward. And then he started to berate Amy. He was telling her she had to be, more helpful to her mother and to her sister. And she had to start thinking about college. And he was like really leaning on her. And I was like, I've never even seen this guy before. He's not raising Amy. I don't think she spends much time with him except maybe during the summer. And he was just like berating her the whole way home. And it was like, I felt horrible. I was like a witness to this whole thing. And Amy started crying. It was so awkward. Well, when you're that age, parents drive you home. They drive you all the way home. So he was driving me home, and all of a sudden, about a half mile from my house, he pulled over and he said, "This is close enough." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he, sort of sat there with the engine idling on the side of the road. And I got out and I said, good night, thanks. And he didn't even say anything. And Amy was crying. So I closed the door and it raced off. He dropped me a half mile from our house. It was so weird. I mean, it was midnight. So I walked home and I didn't tell my parents about it because, they always drove my friends home at night all the way to the door. And then they make sure they got in the door because, if I told them what he had done, they'd be like, hey, Mr. Young, what are you doing with our kid? Our kid was on the streets of Ross late at night. This is outrageous. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I didn't say anything to them. But it struck me as I sat there feeling so awkward and out of place as this argument was happening that was farcical. I was like a witness to something. It was so completely weird and farcical. And that's what I learned from that play, Bedroom Farce. I learned that. Well, a few weeks later, Amy came up to me and she said, John, would you like to come over to my house tonight? I'm like, oh, sure. I loved hanging out with Amy. She said, yeah, my mom and Georgina won't be there. I said, oh, okay. She said, yeah, so I'll meet you in the back parking lot and you can just drive us up. And I was like, okay, fine. Now, I was suddenly nervous because I had never been in that house alone with Amy at night. Every time I went over there, it was just like, hey, let's go over to your house. And there, her mom was there and we all had fun. It was like she was inviting me over to her house at night. I was like, oh my God. And here's the thing, though. Amy was active. I mean, she was an active girl. And I was the completely opposite. I was inactive. I was deactive. I was the little virgin gay boy. I was and I thought, oh my God, she's gonna get me up into her house and expect me to perform. And I'm like, I can't even rehearse. I mean, it's like insanity. So I was totally nervous. I was shaking. I thought this is like a date. I was like, okay. So, I went to the back parking lot at 6. I picked her up and I drove her up to the house. And we were driving up to the house and I saw as we were parking that it was dark. It was pitch dark inside. I thought, oh my God, there really is nobody there. And so we both got out and she said, come on. I was like, oh my God. And she was she's really assertive, leading the way. I'm like, oh. And I didn't know what to say. I thought, maybe I should tell her, I really don't know what you think about me, but I'm not up to this, presentation right now. But anyway, we got up to the door and she opened the door and the door swung open into complete darkness. That was the living room. It was completely black. And I stepped in and she didn't turn the light on. I was horrified. I didn't know what was happening. I was shaking and she shut the door. I thought, oh my God, something's going to happen and I am not going to happen and it's going to get all over the school that I am, I am not, I'm uber virgin and I'm not happening and I'm gay and so I was shaking there in the dark and then all of a sudden, boom, the lights went on. Surprise! Everybody shouted. It was a surprise party for me. It was amazing. They totally duped me. Talk about farce. I was Amy, she even cared about me that way. I was like, what vanity? I was it was great. All my friends were there. Everybody from the drama department. There were 30 kids there. It was great. And we had cake and I got presents. Everybody was super nice to me. It was my 17th birthday. And we danced and we sang songs and we did scenes from movies that we loved, like It's a Mad World. It was great. And we did scenes from plays and we were just crazy all night long. And Amy's mom, she had a few too many. She was the only adult there. She was the chaperone, but she was right? And so we're all hanging around by the pool out back. And nobody's swimming. It's late at night. It's October, right? And so we're all hanging around by the pool. And Amy's mom goes, push the birthday boy into the pool. Push him into the pool. And I'm like, oh, come on, don't do that. And suddenly I woke up. And everybody's cheering. Ah! And there are 6 of my friends coming at me. I'm not like, no, come on, don't, this is a cute outfit I have on, I was kind of horrified. I was going on a date. I was like, push him in, ah, that was her mom, ah, and the 6 friends are still coming at me. I'm like, no, guys, no, seriously, don't, whoa, ah, and so I started doing backstrokes in the pool to show that it was all cool. And then other friends shoved other friends in. And suddenly all people were going into the pool. It was great. It was the best birthday I'd ever had up to that point. It was magical. And I'd gone into it in this totally farcical, ridiculous, like, I'm going to be attacked by Amy. Amy was like, she was like, why would she attack me? It's ridiculous. So a few weeks after that, she came up to me and she said, well, my daddy's back in town. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, how's he doing? She said, well, he's got another show. He's the company manager for another show that's on tour. Do you want to go? And I'm like, oh, well, and she said, no, you can drive. I mean, if you can, get a car from your parents, you can drive us and we can just go. We don't have to go over with him. I'm like, well, I'd love to, Amy. That'd be great. So she said, meet me in the back parking lot at 6. And so I did. And there she was, and I picked her up, and we drove into the city, and we parked, and we went to the Golden Gate Theater. And we went inside the theater, and, we sat down. God love her dad. I mean, I'm so critical, but he put us in the center of the second row. It was the final preview of this musical. And suddenly the curtain shot up, and there was the most beautiful set I've ever seen, before or since. And it was on, rotating turntables. It was like amazing. And it was full of people, like 35 actors singing their lungs out. And there was like a pit with a huge orchestra in it, like 40 pieces all sawing away. And then all of a sudden this guy came out on stage and he turned around and he faced the audience, and the audience went crazy. They were cheering. And he just stood there and took in the applause. And then he sang the most wonderful song I've ever heard. It was Rex Harrison. Rex Harrison at the 30th anniversary revival of My Fair Lady. I got to see him do his signature role, and I heard about it. I didn't really even know why it was so great. It was amazing. And talk about farce. He got really frustrated with the conversation at one point, just totally annoyed. So he put his teacup on his hat and turned around, didn't spill it, and went like this. He was great. It was the best night ever. Oh my God. People were cheering at the end. I loved it. And I was like, I was the biggest fan of Mr. Young. I just, where's your dad? Where's your dad? She says, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So we went home and I was just like glowing. What a great cast. I loved it. So I couldn't even believe this. A few days later, Amy called me up and she said, my mom and I were talking and we're going to throw a party for the cast of My Fair Lady. And we thought maybe you could be the bartender. I was like, what, are you kidding? That'd be great. She said, yeah, you'll be the bartender and then you can meet everyone. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then she said, but you're going to have to wear a little outfit, okay? I said, like what? And she said, well, we were thinking maybe like a cowboy. I'm like, cowboy? What does that got to do with anything? I said, well, I was like, no, I'm there. I'll be a cowboy. So I got like this suede vest and this, it's like a bandolero. It's a bolo. Yeah, like a bolo. And I got like my blue jeans and my cowboy boots and my big, my leatherwork belt with a big, huge buckle. And I had, like the red scarf like John Wayne, except I kind of wore it on the side with this nice bow. And, but as I was getting dressed, I was like, Jesus, I don't know how to mix drinks. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, these people are going to be coming up and asking for drinks. And I said that to Amy. She said, oh, don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. They'll tell you how to do it. Or, it does. Just give them some liquor. That's all I want. I said, okay. So she said, meet me in the back parking lot at 6. And I said, okay. So I picked her up and we drove up and she said, why don't you park in the garage? And I said, okay, great. And I parked in the garage. And then she hopped out of the car and she was like all joking around, fooling around. And she like throws open the back door, which goes into the kitchen. She goes, hey, I've got Rex Harrison with me. I'm like, oh, Amy, come on. So I walk in and, the party wasn't supposed to have started yet. And she like walks into the living room and she says, here's Rex Harrison. He's right here with me. I said, Amy, what is this? And I stop and say, oh, stand there in the living room. In front of me is Rex Harrison, 73 years old and looking like $1 million. He was great. He was standing right there. And I was like, I was like so tongue-tied. And it was great. What a great party. All these people in the chorus came up to me to say hi, and they sang songs and said some of their lines just like they said them on stage. Oh, and this big, tall, handsome guy from New York who sang the song, I have often walked down this street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my street before. He was like there, and he came up to the bar, and, and it was easy. All they wanted was wine, and they'd say what kind, and I just poured. It was easy. And then Rex Harrison walked up to the bar, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to ask for like a B and S, and I don't know what a B is or an S. I quickly remember, don't give an Englishman ice. I said, no ice, no ice. So he walked up and he like stood there, and I said, hello, Mr. hello, hi, Mr. Harrison. How are you? What can I get you? And he said, oh, no, don't worry. I'll help myself. And he mixed himself a drink. It was great. Everything was perfect. Everything I'd worried about. And I went up to Amy's mom, who's, like the perfect hostess. And I said, when are we going to push Sir Rex into the pool? And she said, John, no. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was like a surprise party. We push him in the pool. It was so wonderful. And all my anxiety, all that farcical, campy anxiety about, how I'd come off and, could I serve the drinks? Phooey. That was a wonderful year. It was our senior year. And at the end of the year, we had one more surprise party. And that surprise party was for Amy. Oh, it was great. We went into the theater and we surprised her. We threw on the lights. Surprise! And we had presents and we sang. It was great. And we gave her a cake. And, Amy, we wanted to give Amy, a perfect cake, So some of the guys had made like it was a penis cake. We made a penis cake for Amy. And it was made of this huge banana. And then there were 2 Dolly Madison snowballs. And it had like red veins and some vanilla extract. It was really intense and gross looking. Amy loved it. She absolutely loved it. And she took it out onto the lawn of the high school where everybody was like, eating their lunch. And she devoured it from the tip all the way up to the snowballs. And people took pictures. It was great. I was so proud of Amy. She ate that whole cake. It was incredible. And it was that first play, The Bedroom Farce, that had me thinking about farce and how it works in life, that farce is a certain type of thing. And I became amazed with what farce can do, because farce can take on anything and push it to an extreme. It can take on drama, romance, even tragedy, and it pushes it to an extreme. It can make fun of anything you can imagine. It can make fun of sex, infidelity, alcoholism, murder. It can crime. It can even make fun of death. That is the potency of farce. It can do all that stuff. Okay, good example. You know that movie Vacation with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo? Okay, so they have this grandmother, and they're driving across the country, right? They're driving across the country from their home to Wally World, which is like Disneyland. So they're driving across the country, and they've got their grandma with them, right? And she's very old, and she's in the back seat with the kids, and she falls asleep and falls on one of the kids. And they push her off, and they falls another kid, push her off. And then they realize that grandma's dead. She's dead. She's died in the car. And they pull over, and they are horrified. They have a dead body in the car. And of course, they're sad, but they're completely horrified. And they get out of the car, and you can just see that they are just like, oh my God. We have a dead body in the car. They're in the middle of nowhere. They are like 300 miles from the next town, and they're 300 miles back to Nazareth. There's nothing to do with this body. They can't bury it on the side of the road. There are no funeral parlors around. What are they going to do? They can't put it back in the car and drive around with this dead body. So what do? They strap grandma to the top of the car. Okay, so they put her up there on top of the car, strapped with bungee cords. Remember bungee cords? Yeah, that's what they use. And because grandma died in a seated position, her rigor mortis is set in seated. So she's sitting upright, very properly, dead on the top of the car, covered with a tarp. And it is like the most outrageously funny scene I've ever seen. I thought it was hysterical. I mean, it was great. And it took all this horror and fear of death and sadness and just turned it into a rigor mortis body on top of the car on bungee cords, sitting upright. And of course, it was doubly funny because the dead grandma was Imogen Coca, and she's like the most hysterical woman alive, even dead. It's great. But that's what farce can do, but it's also incredibly dangerous. Because farce does things like it turns sex into sexism by pushing it. It turns lust into misogyny by pushing it, by making it extreme. Right? It turns anger into violence, comic violence. Think of the Three Stooges. They get angry at each other and they'd be like, boom, in the eye, boom, in the eye, and then one would like do the block it and go, boom, in the eye, and they had all these things, like hitting each other. It was like crazy, that kind of violence. And my friend Brett, he loved the Three Stooges. He would watch it all the time, but his mother said he couldn't because then he'd go and do those things on his little sister, like boom, 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 to his little sister. So it's very, very dangerous farce. And it's very controversial because, the stance it takes on very serious things. So, okay, so let's try this. Let's look at a local farce, okay? A local farce, and sort of see if we can explore some of these aspects of the complexities of farce. Okay, here we go. Sweetie! Sweetie, coming downstairs, sweetie. Come on down. Everybody's going to be here soon. Jeremy and Jerry. We're going to sign the mortgage tonight. That's right, on our second home with our best gay buddies. Yes, I'm so excited. Hal's coming over. He's bringing his underage but legal boyfriend. So he'll be representing us. Wonderful attorney Hal. Yeah, come on down, sweetie. Come on down. Oh, here he is, Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. How are you? I'm so excited about tonight. What? Oh, no, there's plenty of parking out there. Yeah. No, our neighborhood's full of parking. Yeah. Well, you just have to look. No, sweetie, there's plenty of parking out there. Well, okay, go up by the halfway house. The halfway house. Well, they don't drive. Well, they're halfway. The half that has cars isn't in there. They don't have that half. Just go up there. Okay. Somebody else is calling. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm putting you on hold. Hal, sweetie, how are you? Yeah? Oh, Hal. No, Hal, it's tonight. No, we're signing the mortgage. Hal, we're signing the mortgage tonight. I have to keep stirring I'm making soup, but we are signing the mortgage tonight, Hal, not tomorrow. At 7 o'clock, we need you here. No, you have to come tonight. No, it has to be tonight. Yes. Yes, you can bring your underage but legal boyfriend. Yes, of course. Oh, he's fine. No, sweetie hasn't had a drink in months. He's completely sober. Yes, Jeremy made that a requirement of the mortgage agreement. Yes. No, he's fine. Just come. Oh, here's Jeremy again. Okay, Hal, I'm hanging out. Jeremy, what is it? Oh, you can park out there. Of course you can. Okay. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, okay, I'll come out and park. I'm going to come out and park. The soup is great. I'm going to come out and park. I'm going to park your car. Just pull up in front. I'm coming out and parking. Oh, my God. Sweetie, I have to go out and park Jeremy's car. He's total lame parker. So come in here and stir the soup. We have to keep stirring it. Stir the soup, honey. Stir the soup. It's okay. All right. Come downstairs and stir the soup. Yeah, right. Yeah, where is it? Okay, yeah. It's in the kitchen, of course. Where is it? There must be some liquor around here. Sweetie, I parked their car. Oh my God, how lame. They're so completely lame. They don't even know how to park a car. They're coming. They'll be here any minute. Sweetie, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Sweetie, you look terrible. You look so pale. You look like you're going to pass out. Sweetie. No, I'm fine. Oh my God, sweetie, are you okay? Oh, what's wrong? Oh, sweetie, what's wrong with you? Oh, my darling, You're drunk. You're drunk, aren't you? You're drunk, aren't you? You're just drunk. No, I'm not drunk. Yes, you're drunk. You're drunk. And Jeremy and Jerry are going to be here in just a second. And they think that you've sobered up. They think that you're drinking juices now and eating real food, not just candy. I can't even believe it. Sweetie, they are not going to sign a mortgage with you if you are drunk. That's what this meeting is all about. This is a disaster. It's a disaster. Oh my God, that's them at the door. Oh my God, they're here. Oh, hello, Hal. Hal. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, no, there's plenty of parking out there, Hal. Yes, there's plenty of parking. Get your, underage but legal boyfriend to help you. There is plenty of parking out there. I have to get the door. Okay, come on, sweetie. We're gonna put you in the downstairs powder room. Okay, just come on. Oh, stop ringing. Okay. Hello. I'm coming. Yes. How? What is it? Okay, I will come out and park your car for you. No, I'm going to come out and park the car. I'm coming. I'm going to park the car. Yeah, just pull up in front. Yes, I have to let Jeremy and Jerry in. I have to let them in. Okay, here come Hal. Shh, be quiet in there. Oh. Jerry, how are you? My goodness. Hello, Tommy. Oh. Jeremy, what's wrong? Car accident. But I just parked your car. Yes, but you didn't put on the parking brake, and it rolled over my big toe. Oh, I'm in such pain, excruciating. Oh, well, I'm so sorry. Well, come in. I have to go and park Hal's car, but come in and stir the soup. I need you to stir the soup. Be sure to put on his parking brake, won't you? Yes, of course. He'll forget. My goodness. Oh, the pain is exquisite, isn't it? Jerry, hand me the salt, would you? He never spices things correctly. Yes. Yes, that should do it. Oh, my goodness. I need something for my toe. I'm going to go into this bathroom. Jerry, come and stir the soup, would you? We promised to make sure it got stirred. Yes, indeed. Hey, what's going on? I thought you were going to go into the bathroom. Well, I can't. The door's locked. I can't get in. It's locked? Yeah? Well, actually, it's not. There's somebody laying in front of it. I can't get it open. There's something actually blocking the door. I can open it just a little bit. Oh, that's weird. Brah! What on earth is that? Brah! Oh, goodness. I think it's like a hippo. A hippo? Yeah, a hippo. What would a hippo be doing in there? Well, they come up out of the drain, hippos in the city. A hippo? The hippo's too big to come out of the drain. No, it's like an urban hippo. It's like a hipster. Yeah, they come out of the drain and they enter bathrooms. It's a weird phenomenon, and it's not an urban myth. It actually happens. Well, that's it. I parked Hal's car. He'll be in here in just a minute with his underage but legal boyfriend. And oh my God, what are you doing? What are you two doing? Well, I was trying to get into the powder room, and you can't. It's not working, and it's a bathroom. It's not a powder room. It's a bathroom. Oh, well, I can't get it. Do you have like a hippo in there? No, we don't have a hippo in there. How absurd. Sounds like a hippo. Oh, yes, we do have a hippo. Now it doesn't sound so much like a hippo. It sounds like, well, it's not a hippo. It's Sweetie. Sweetie's in there. Oh, what's Sweetie doing in there? Well, he's resting. He works very hard and he gets tired and he needs to rest. And sometimes he falls asleep on the toilet and that's why he's in there. Oh, really? Because the toilet's not near the door. It's kind of far from the door. So what's blocking the door? I'm not answering any more questions, okay? That's it. I'm done answering questions. Oh, there's Hal. Stay out of that bathroom. Hal, how are you? My toe. Oh, my toe. He must not have put on your parking brake. No, I don't think he did. My car chased me down the block. Yo, this is he's my underage but legal boyfriend. His name is Stan. Sam? No, Stan. Stan. Oh, come on in, Stan. I'm pleased to meet you. It's a welcome to our household. Yeah, sure. Glad to be here. Hey, Jerry. Did you text me? Yeah, that's great. Look at that. Yeah. It says I'm wet. I love it. That is so hot. Come on, let's find some place to get away from these old folks, okay? Yeah, come on. You see, okay. That's not funny. That's not funny. That's actually not funny. This is the author speaking. That's not funny. It's like infidelity is not funny. It's humiliating. And Sweetie's drunk off his ass. That's not funny. Alcoholism is a disease. It's not funny. It's like the whole thing is absurd, right? Infidelity. That's the problem with farce. It makes fun of serious things. It's not funny. It's just not funny. Come on in, everybody. Tommy. Why is Sweetie in the bathroom? I want to know why Sweetie's in the bathroom. How come nobody's wearing a mask? We should all be wearing masks. We're not COVID safe. We should all be wearing masks. Oh, for God's sake, Tommy. We've all been vaccinated. Yes, but the underage but legals haven't. I want everybody to put on a mask right now. Put on that mask. Go on. Put it on. I'm making soup. I'm making soup so that we can suck it through straws. It'll be safe that way. Why is Sweetie in the bathroom? Where are Stan and Jerry? I don't see them. Oh my God, Sweetie, you're out of the bathroom. What are you doing out of the bathroom? Oh yeah. I was in the bathroom, but a couple of teenagers threw me out, so I'm out here now. Aren't we signing something today, like a mortgage or something? Put on a mask. Oh, all right, yeah, okay. Excuse me, Sweetie, but are you drinking? What? Oh no. This is for cooking. Yeah, I just pour it in the soup. It really brings out the natural cognac brandy flavor of the soup. It's beneficial. It's really good for you. So, digression number 2. I have some other really fun drama friends in high school. It was great. One of them was a total surprise. It was Kenrick. Kenrick I'd known since middle school. I knew him before we got to high school. And he was a great guy. We used to hang out a lot in middle school. And Kenrick at 11 was like an adult. He was like full-size adult. And he was nothing like Amy, but he had that same sort of magical, sort of wonderful, farcical energy about him. It was just natural. But he was like an adult-sized kid, and he wasn't like a beanpole. Like my brother was like 6'7", but he was like a beanpole. Kenrick was like, he's like, like he was like built like a big adult at 11. And at 13, he was like a big adult. And in high school, he was even bigger adult. And the way we sort of came together in drama was he saw me in a couple plays, and then he said, and he had this big laugh. They always said things, John, can I talk to you? I want to talk to you about your plays. It was just like, he was always laughing. He was just like a jolly guy. And he said, I saw the play, and I've been thinking about being in the next one. I was like, oh, okay, Kenrick, that sounds like a good idea. So, how do I do that? Well, you have to audition. Okay. How do I do that? Well, you go to auditions and you read for a role. Okay. Well, the musical is Guys and Dolls, so I want to be Big Julie, because I'm big. Well, yeah, that makes sense, Kenrick. So how do I do that? You go to auditions and you read for the role. And how do I read for the role? Are you asking for like advice, like acting coaching? Yeah, that's what I want. Now, I was being very Machiavellian because the director of the production had already come to me and said, John, I want you to play Big Julie from Chicago. And I'm like, I'm not big. I'm like, I'm average. He said, yeah, but you're a really good actor. I'm like, well, thank you. That's nice. I need a really good actor to play Big Julie. And I'm like, you know what? Big Julie's a supporting role. I'd like to play the lead. I actually said that to her. I mean, who am I, George Clooney? He said, I'd like to play the lead. And she's like, I need a good actor to play Big Julie. So I thought, okay, if I send her Kenrick, and he's like so tall and big, and if he's any good at all, she'll cast him, and then I'll be free for the lead. So we went into the theater, and we stood on the stage, and I said to Kenrick, okay, so read the part. That's what you'll have to do. And he stood there, and he said, I'm Big Julie. I'm Big Julie from Chicago. I'm like, stop, Kenrick, stop. You're wandering around. You're wandering all over the stage. You can't wander all over the stage, Kenrick. You've got to stand in one spot. That's what real people do. They don't wander around. When you wander around, it's showing that you're nervous. It's like a tell, you know what I mean? It's telling us that you're nervous. Oh, okay. So don't wander around, just stand. Okay, here we go. I'm Big Julie. I'm Big Julie from Chicago. Kenrick, that's good. That's really good. I'm impressed. But, you got to be louder. Right now we're like 4 feet apart. You're going to be in this big theater. You got to like really fill the theater. Try it again. I'm Big Julie. I'm Big Julie from Chicago. Big Julie. Okay, Kenrick, stop. That was great. You stood in one place and you were loud, but Kenrick, you don't have to do all that business. You're funny enough on your own, right? You don't have to add to it. Just keep it simple. In your case, keep it simple. Oh, okay. All right. I can do that. Keep it simple. I can do that. And he got the role. And I was cast as the lead. It was so Machiavellian. I was so proud of myself. And he was really good as Big Julie. The audience loved him because he was like so huge. He didn't really have to do anything. And he didn't. I mean, he basically did what I told him, stood there, said his lines, He came up with a couple good things. He came up with a cigar. He added a cigar. I'm Big Julie from Chicago. And, his crap game was really good. When he rolled the dice for craps, he was like, ha! Ha! I love that. Ha! I mean, it wasn't really funny, but, he added some stuff. He used to stand backstage and watch me on stage and laugh. He loved my business. His two favorite bits of my business were, I was talking to my friend, my sidekick, Benny Southstreet, right? And Benny Southstreet was he was all being annoying, right? And so I was like getting annoyed with him, and eventually I told him to shut up. But I didn't tell him to shut up. I went, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Kenrick loved that. He loved that. Shut up. You're right. And my big song. He loved my big song. Serve a paper and sue me. Sue me. Go ahead, sue me. I love you. Give a holler and hate me. Hate me. Go ahead, hate me. I love you. And he said, John, your singing's terrible. I'm like, yeah, isn't it great? Yeah, but they're laughing at you. Yeah, but they're laughing, Kenrick. That's all that's important. Yeah, but they're laughing at you, not with you. It's like, Kenrick, I don't care. They can laugh at me, with me, under me, beside me, in the next room. They're laughing. Oh, okay, that makes sense. We had a great time on that show. And again, he was like a farce in of himself, but a lovable one. And, much smarter than I ever gave him credit for. He knew what he was doing, and he was so charming. Everybody loved him because he was so gregarious. But there was one thing that totally annoyed me. It really, really bugged me. He came over to my house one day, and my mother loved him. She just adored him. She came to me, oh, Kenrick, I hear you're going to be in the musical playing Big Julie. And this is what he said. Yeah, I saw John in a couple of those other plays, and I thought, yeah, I can do that. I hate that. Everybody always acts like acting is so easy. They're like, I can do that. It's like, what? Without ever studying it or like being in a play, they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's like, okay, think of it this way. Would you go to the ballet and be like, oh, I can do that? No, okay, so you watch some guy do like 14 pirouettes and then you go like, oh, I can do that. Impossible. Or the symphony, like all the violin players are playing, like, oh, I can do that. It's so annoying. And people are always like, I think I'll do some acting. I think I'll be an actor. Good luck. Yeah, go for it. Go do it. Go do it. I encourage you to do it. Because you know what? It's not easy. It is not easy, it is difficult. I have one thing to say to these people. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Start about paper and sue me, sue me. I love you. It's crazy. Well, it's interesting because my high school was so pretentious, you know. At the end of my high school, everybody was talking about, they were talking about all the things that they were going to study and the college that they were going to go to. And it was so interesting because Kenrick, he was like, I've been in school my whole life and I just want to work. And he did. He left high school and he immediately started working. And he became a bus driver. And he lived in my hometown. And it was so interesting because years later, I was on a bus coming back from Marin. I went to visit my mommy. And I heard these two bus drivers up front talking. One was driving, the other was sitting behind him. And I kind of figured out I knew what they were talking about. So I moved closer to sort of spy. And they were talking about Kenrick, the other bus driver, and what a great guy he was. That really warmed my heart. And I'll tell you something, I totally cyber stalked him for this piece. You can find out anything about anybody on the internet. I mean, you don't have to pay, it's free. And I found out he retired at 50. And I even found his retirement package, because, it's like full disclosure, transparency. It was sweet. He got this incredibly sweet retirement package at 50. And he's the chairman of the board of his town's volunteer fire department. It's great. And he's gay. He's gay like me. And he didn't have to move to New York or San Francisco or LA or some city to hide. He was gay in my hometown. It is just amazing. It just goes to show you. Who got the last laugh, That retirement package, I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. Okay, everybody, come out of the bathroom. Come out of that bathroom. Dude, what gives? I want everybody out of that bathroom right now. Right now. Come out of there. Come out of there. Okay, yes, sweetie, go into the bathroom. That's right, go in there. Yes, go in. Tommy. Why is Sweetie being sent into the bathroom? Is he drinking again? I am very upset. I'm very upset with all of you. With all of you. Why? Because we're not COVID safe. There isn't enough COVID safety here. Things are outrageous. We need to all wear masks and wash our hands. So here, let's everybody come over here, and I want you to wash your hands. We'll all take turns washing hands. Okay? All right. Stam, go ahead. Wash your hands. Me? Yeah, wash them. All right. How do I dry them? Don't dry them! Jeremy, wash your hands. Something is going on here, I'm sure of it. And I want to know what's going on in that bathroom with Sweetie. How do I dry them? Don't dry them! Jerry, wash your hands. Right, dude. I mean, I can be a water creature too. I'm a hipster. I don't need to, how do I wash my hands? Don't wash them! Hal, your turn. My foot still hurts from that car you unleashed on me. I am in pain. I would like to get into that bathroom too. How do I dry my hands? Don't dry them! All right, sweetie. Come out of the bathroom and wash your hands. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sweetie, are you drinking? Oh, no, of course not. Oh, look, there's a bee over there. Does everybody see that bee? Yeah, exactly. Sweetie, did you just take a swig? No. Oh, this is what I wash my hands with. It's sort of a detox therapy thing. It's supposed to, remind you, but not in a bad way. Oh, look, there's that bee again. Yeah, there it is. Sweetie, were you just licking your hands? No, of course not. I wasn't licking my hands. Sweetie, I am not signing a mortgage with someone who's a drunk. Well, I wasn't licking my hands. I mean, how could I lick my hands? I've got a mask on. Now, you listen to me, Jeremy. I want you to stop hassling my client. And I would like to know, is Sweetie drinking again? I demand to know, is he drinking again? Will somebody please tell me? Is he? Well, I'm waiting. Yes? Yes? I'm not signing until somebody tells me what is happening with Sweetie. Where are Stam and Jerry in the bathroom? The bathroom? Oh, that's disgusting. My God, Jeremy, your husband's in the bathroom with Stam. Aren't you ashamed? You don't know what he's doing in that bathroom. He could be in there attending to Stam's cuticles. I had another drama friend who was super, super farcical and also one of the loveliest people I've ever known. I mean, there should be a whole show about her. There should be a whole series about her. Her name was Peggy, and I adored Peggy. She was a consummate actor, a devoted friend, and absolutely, positively insane, but reliably so. I mean, she was never like dangerously insane, just insane in all the best ways. She was the best. And she was always supportive of me in all of my stage business. Anything I did on stage, she supported me and like worked with me on it. Oh, I was supposed to have a mustache for the big musical where I played the lead. Yeah, I was supposed to have a mustache, and I didn't want to paint one on, and I couldn't grow one. God knows. So what I did was I took a eyebrow pencil and I drew one on like really, really heavy, like it was really, really thick. I laid it on really thick, and then during our big number, at the end of our big number, I would kiss Peggy on the mouth. I love you. And I'd pull away. And then she'd look at the audience. And she had my mustache. It was there perfect. I'd implanted it on her. Oh, she was great. And she'd go like this. Oh, it was so great to be on stage with her. She was such a fasool. She was wonderful. And you know what? She was absolutely, positively, 100% courageous. Oh my God. She took on the star of our football team. I couldn't even believe it. This guy's name was Hans Begal. I mean, that's for real. Where do you get a name like that? Hans Begal. Okay, so Hans Begal had this huge truck, and I can't even believe this. This is what he used to like to do. Peggy would walk to school in the mornings, and Hans Begal would he would try to run her down. He'd act like he was going to run her down on the sidewalk. He'd be like, at the last second, he'd swerve. That's what he did. And one morning, he was doing that. He was pointing at Peggy. And he swerved into a bunch of kindergartners crossing the street. They were in the sidewalk. And he had to swerve again. Just at the last second. He almost ran down all these kindergarten children. It's incredible. So that day, we were walking home, Peggy and me. And we passed the football field. And there was this huge spread of concrete beside the football field where the basketball usually was played, but there wasn't any basketball right then. And in the middle of this huge spread of concrete was Hans Begal. There he was in the middle of it all. And it was amazing because he had this huge cable. It was this gigantic cable. It was 40 feet long with this gigantic weight on the end of it. And he was just out there swinging it. I couldn't believe it. It's like this animal. And Peggy walks up to where the weight is just passing. She's like, "Hey, Hans, you're really hot. You're the cutest, Hans. I loved it when you tried to run down those kindergarten children this morning." "Hey, shut up." "Yo, you're so hot, Hans. You make me so excited, especially when you try to run down little kids. I hope you run them down tomorrow, Hans. You are so cool. You're so cool." "Hey, hit the road, you little redheaded turd." I just love high school discourse. It's so sophisticated. All right. I want everybody out of that bathroom. Come out of that bathroom. Jerry, come out of there at once. What are you doing in there? My God, it's disgusting. Come out here. Come out here, Jerry. Jerry, I want you out here this instant. Come out of that bathroom. Yes, Jerry. Dude, what's the big deal? I was just in the bathroom. What have you got on your head? Oh, this is it's a hair mask. COVID can be communicated through hair, so I wear a hair mask. Why is it bright blue? Oh, well, it's as a signal to low-flying air traffic. Yeah, it's a safety measure. Those are my underpants. Stan, I told you not to wear my underpants. What are they doing on Jerry's head? well, no. Okay, I am taking control of this. I am taking control of my life. This is outrageous. I am taking control. I am going to tell everybody what to do. Okay, now really listen to me. Jerry, I want you to get those underpants off your head. Stan, I want you to put Hal's underpants back on. Sweetie, get back into the bathroom. Ah! Jeremy, shut up. And Hal, my God, Hal, what's wrong? Hal, what? Hal, you're pale. Hal, what's happening? My God, Hal, get up off the floor. Hal, you're a dignified attorney. You should be on the floor. Get up, Hal. Don't worry about it. This happens all the time. It's just a heart attack. He has them all the time. It's no big deal. You see, here we go again. Alcoholism, infidelity, and now we have heart attacks, death. This is supposed to be, like, acceptable for humor? It's not. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Yeah, this happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Well, we have to do something. Why? Because we have to do something. We have to. Okay. I saw George C. Scott do this in a movie in the hospital. This is what he did. I'm revived. I am revived. I'm back. At least a little. My God. Get that mortgage. I want to sign it right now while I'm still alive. I'm not signing any mortgage with a drunk like Sweetie. Oh, for God's sake. Jeremy, he's a functional drunk. He has a job. So as he makes his living and pays his share of the mortgage, what do you care? Come on now. I want to sign this thing. And I want to have Stan sign it as well. So he has something when I'm gone. And I don't want him to have to pay. I want him to be a non-paying member of this mortgage. Come on, sign it. No. I'm going. My last wish is sign that mortgage. Oh, very well. Give me the damn thing. Oh, my Lord. Do I sign here? I still think this is very, very suspicious. All right. Who's going to be next? Yes? Who's signing next? Oh, Tommy, you should sign for both you and Sweetie. Sweetie can sign on his own. He's capable of signing himself. Yes. There. That's done. Okay? Jerry, your turn to sign. Nothing was going on in that bathroom, right? I was actually helping Stan with his cuticles. Yeah, I'm devoted to Jeremy. Okay. Stan, you want to take a turn? Yeah, sure. I'd love to. We were in there talking about all you old hens, and that's all we were doing. We were like just in there talking about if we stayed in the bathroom long enough, guess what? That you would all fall for it. You'd all think that we were like stepping out on you. You're so suspicious of young guys. We're totally devoted to you guys. Of course we are. You've got all the money. Why wouldn't we be? Crazy. Sweetie? I'm not drunk at all. No, I'm completely sober. I just knew that I could set you guys all off because you're so paranoid about my drinking. I thought, why not have some fun with these characters, right? Look at me. I am sober. I am completely sober. I'm sober, but I got a bad back. Incredible. Well, Now I can notarize it as an attorney. There we go. And there's nothing wrong with my heart. Nothing at all. I'm 100%. I just knew you characters would never get around to signing this thing if I didn't bring it to order. You with your neurosis. Yes, indeed. You sexy boys. And you, sweetie, with your games. You're all a bunch of characters. I knew if I didn't bring this to pass with my heart attack, it'd never get signed. Psst, what characters. Ultimately, Farce kind of plays that game. It kind of lets us off the hook. Often in Farce, it turns out that the infidelities aren't infidelities, that the murders aren't murders, the deaths aren't really deaths, right? If they are, it's done to sort of mess with us. Farce is incredibly complicated, and I don't think it exists in life, because I think in life, there's always an explanation for stuff. And the things feel terrible. Like what is in that car, listening to Amy get berated. Or, when I thought that Amy was wanting me in the house for something other than a surprise party. It's all in our head. And Farce makes fun of that, but I do think it's kind of dangerous, right? Because it kind of makes everything serious seem like it's not all that important. Amy and Kenrick and Peggy, they were all incredible. And very, very different people. And I've been in touch with Amy and Peggy, but I haven't been in touch with Kenrick. He reached out to me a bunch of years ago because I was in the paper because it was talking about how gay I am. I was running this gay theater company, and he actually called me up, and I talked with him on the phone for a little bit. And that's when he said, me too. I was like, me too what? I mean, me too? And he said, me too. I'm like you. I'm gay. And that always impressed me, that he could make a gay life, right? Right over there in my little town in Marin County. When I saw Bedroom Farce, it was so much fun. But I realized now it wasn't really a farce because the stakes were too real. They were authentic, right? They were real things. And Farce kind of pushes stuff to the outrageous, the ridiculous. And it makes us look like fools. And I guess in that way it's valuable. It kind of takes the piss out of us. Makes all this serious stuff that we're so obsessed with seem objectively not that important. But I do think it's dangerous. All this behavior, it's inspired by people like John Cleese, Fawlty Towers, and who's that great actor who was always in changing all the roles? Peter Sellers, But they always took what was very reasonable and went crazy with it, right? And that's kind of the way neuroses works, right? I know, I'm neurotic. And it's just like you just keep pushing, and you enter your own little world, and it's like alternative universe. And I guess in that way, Farce is valuable because it shows us the dangers of getting lost in our neuroses. It was wonderful performing for you tonight. You were a terrific audience. As always, I love performing. I don't have the little green light anymore. I've got like a circle now, so it's a little bit weird. But, I know that the circle's there, and there's a little tiny red light. Oh, there it is. There's a little red light. I have a little red light, but I can't always see it. But I do feel you out there, and you make it special. We have an incredible show coming up. Mark Nadler created a show just for Theater Rhinoceros. It's like amazing. It was performed live for a tiny audience in New York City and will be for us out here next weekend, the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. So check it out. It's all on our website. It's sliding scale. It's free up to $1,000, depending on what you want to pay. It should be a wonderful show. And Mark's going to be there afterwards to talk to the audience. So you'll actually get to meet Mark online. And then we have Pillow Talk coming up in June, which is this wonderful play about West Oakland and the African-American community there, which is like being erased. It's kind of tragic. And it's by the great Kevin Legrone, who wrote The Legend of Pink a few years ago. And then the Essential Services Project continues next week with War's End. That's the name of the play. It's about how wars end. And we're kind of going through an ending now, right, with this big thing that's been going on. So we got a bunch of great stuff coming up. If you'd like to make a donation to our theater to support all these programs, you can do so by sending a check to me, John Fisher, at my COVID-19 office, Theater Rhinoceros, 91 Central Avenue, Suite number 102, San Francisco, California, 94117. Or you can go online to therhino.org and make a donation online. We really appreciate it. You've helped us through COVID-19. I swear to God, it's been donations and support that's kept all this free program and over 100 performances going during COVID-19. So thank you. But more than anything, thank you for being here. Check out the website, therhino.org, for all the great things we've got coming up. We have another reading. We just did a great reading the other night, curated by the great Joe Talley, who's here with me every night. Yay, Joe! Yay, 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 yay. Love Joe, love Joe, love Joe. I also want to give a big shout out to the man who made Mark Nadler possible, and that's Henry S. Rosenthal. He helped us a lot with making the Mark Nadler Show possible. So yay, Henry! Shouts of love to Henry. But we love having you involved, and check us out. We're here for the duration until we're back in the theaters live and we can see all of you and love all of you. We're here doing shows online, and we couldn't do them without you. So thank you so much, and good night.